Hello Internet, my name is Ayla Mabe, and today I'm going to show you how to play what I feel are the best riffs from the Rolling Stones' 1978 studio album, Some Girls. So without further ado, let's begin. The first riff we're going to look at is from one of the Rolling Stones' most famous songs, Miss You. So first I'm going to show you how to play it in a more simplified way so it sounds like the harmonica part, which is a little bit more recognizable, and then I'll show you the actual guitar part that you can hear played throughout the intro. That's the part that a lot of people recognize, right? So we're going to start here on the 5th fret of the D string to the 7th fret. You might want to palm mute to make it more percussive and tight sounding. And then you're going to hammer on 5 to 7 on the G string. And then come down to the 5th fret. And if you want, bend up slightly, just because that's a really common blues thing to do. And this is definitely a very blues-influenced hook, even though the song has a disco feeling overall. And then you come down to the D string again, and you pull off from the 7th fret to the 5th fret, and back to the 7th fret. Feel free to add some vibrato, and you repeat that. And then you end by playing 5-7 on the D string, 5th fret of the G string, back to that 7th fret again. And now, put it all together, slowly, this is what we have. And then it repeats, of course. Now, if you want to play it like the actual guitar part in the song, it would be a little more like this. So you can hear that it starts pretty much the same way with this, but then you're going to play this really nice double stop shape, starting here on the 7th fret of the G string. I'm using my middle finger, and then my index finger is on the 6th fret of the B string, and you're sliding up a whole step. So you're starting with your middle finger on the 7th fret, and you end up on the 9th fret, and then the 8th fret with your index finger. And then you slide this down chromatically. And if you can add some vibrato, it'll sound really nice. And then hammer on 5 to 7, land on that 7th fret of the D string. This song is very jammy overall, and obviously it kind of changes as the song goes on, but if you can get that main part down that I just taught you, everything else is just kind of a variation on that. And let's move on to the next riff. If you're a Guitareo member, remember that you can dive into these riffs using our interactive practice tool that allows you to slow every section down, loop the treble sections, all while seeing the full tab along with the music. It really is the best way to learn these. And if you're not a member, you can get a free trial at guitareo.com/trial. So let's get back to the video. Our next riff is from another very iconic Stones song, Beast of Burden. Of course, if you listen to this song, there's so many different guitar tracks going on. There's a whole pile of them, a whole army of guitars going on. But I'll teach you the most recognizable part, which starts with this very interesting chord move where you're playing a triad here at the 9th fret of the D string, 8th fret of the G string, and then the 7th fret of the B string, and I'm just using my 3rd, 2nd, and 1st fingers. And then what you do is you strum that and immediately flatten your 3rd finger so that you end up covering the 9th fret of the D, G, and B strings. And the strumming of this song is super loose. It changes throughout the whole thing because it's a very, jammy, vibey sort of song. But you can try getting a strumming pattern like that. Something you could do when you're playing songs like this is ignore the chords for a second and just see if you can strum along. You can hear the groove of the song, even though I'm not playing any chords. And just pay attention to where the accents are. Let's come back to that first triad shape. And then you move to a new chord shape where you're putting your third finger on the 11th fret of the D string and then barring with this index finger, your index finger, on the 9th fret of the G and B strings. So now we have. And it's really important when you bar, I forgot to mention this, you do actually want to be covering the D string as well, because the next thing you do is take everything off and keep the bar there, and then hammer on with that third finger to the 11th fret of the D string. And then we add another finger to the chord shape, the middle finger this time, to the 10th fret of the B string. And then, to end the phrase, we have this. It repeats. So you come in to the phrase with the same thing you did to start it, which is great. And then you repeat it, and if you put that all together and play it a few times in a row, this is what it could sound like. Our third and final riff from Some Girls is that from the song Shattered. So this is what the first part sounds like. So you're gonna start by putting your index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then you're gonna play that note plus the open E string. And then after you play that, 2-note chord one time, you're going to play the low E string twice. And you're gonna end up with 2 sets of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the last time you play that 2-note chord and the low E string on its own, an extra time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And it's super important to palm mute, pick pretty aggressively. And then we're gonna move up to a different chord shape where you put, you don't have to do this, but I like to put my third finger on the 4th fret of the D string, and I play that with the open A string. And then I put my index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and I play that twice. And again, I repeat this movement a few times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then there's an extra hit at the end where, I of course take my index finger off, as you can see and hear. Now if I put those two parts together and play it slowly, this is what we have. And then the next part of the phrase sounds like this. So you play a set of 3, and then an extra hit. And then you play the 4th fret of the E string, and then you play the A string and the D string together, just open. And you play this 2-note power chord shape, 2nd fret of the A string, and the 4th fret of the D string. 1, 2, 3. And then one extra hit where you play just the A string on its own. Now, if you listen to the intro, you'll notice it basically repeats the riff 4 times. We've looked at the first 2 variations, but the third and the fourth time, it's basically just this. So now if you put everything together slowly, this is what you have. And then the verse starts. There you go, 3 of my favorite riffs from some girls. Please let me know in the comments below what your favorite riffs are from this iconic album, or from any other Rolling Stones albums. So on that note, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.